Welcome to A Little Help podcast, where understanding life cycles can lead you to bigger and better changes. Welcome. I'm April, and let's get started. We got Mignon here today.
She's back.
Okay, so she felt a little left out
No, she didn't.
from last week. So we're going to pick up on self-confidence and support and low self-esteem. So let's get her take on it.
Yeah. So I had the pleasure of watching, more so listening back on last week's episode, and I thought it was great. You had Latika, who is my godmother. I have adopted her. She has adopted me. And I love to hear what she had to say and just actually learned a few new things about you and the experiences that you guys had together growing up. But the main focus was just kind of her experience with my grandma and how close they were. And my grandma, she wasn't the type of person to really open up much to a lot of people. So the fact that she was so open, so honest, so raw with Latika all the time was always a beautiful thing to hear, to understand. But let's talk about, support. You grew up in a household, you are one of 8.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I have had this conversation before. It's really difficult to, I think, as a parent, to meet all of the needs of every kid on an emotional level when you have so many kids in the household with varying ages. And so one of the things that you had mentioned was like you didn't feel like you were taught some of the things that would have helped you to be more successful in life, mainly like love, relationships, and finances.
Right.
So the difference for me is I feel like I had an emotional connection. I have an emotional connection when it comes to our relationship. Like we spent a lot of time together, could do a lot of fun activities together. But I don't ever really recall talking to you about things like love or sex or even finances up until like later in life.
I discussed finances with you. You just didn't.
Probably didn't want to hear it at the time.
Right. Those are some things that's been discussed, but she just would never follow up with what I said.
Specifically finances is what you're saying.
Finances.
Okay.
As far as sex, I never really knew you, and it's not even about before you go out and before you start dating, because I mean, y'all really wasn't a dater.
That you knew of.
See there? And she really didn't come to me and ask questions. Had she, I would have definitely answered.
Did you go to your mom and ask questions?
No, and that's where I also go to going back to you do what you know, from her parents, not helping her, teaching her about it. She didn't teach me about it. So everybody keeps saying I'm a lot like my mom. So therefore, it was something that I didn't come, but like they say, you know better, you do better. These are things that I'll teach your daughter. No, but anyway.
All these hypothetical kids that you keep coming up with, I don't understand.
But times that you would, and you didn't come often and ask me questions about relationships, but when you did, I definitely would give you the answer. Honestly, of what you should do.
I don't recall ever.
You did at one time. You don't want me to go into it.
I mean, you can. Just we gonna leave names out of this.
I don't even know the name.
Oh, great.
No, this was a guy you were dating, and you said to me, you said, "Well, Ma, I met this guy, and he want to go out, but he's always like, well, I got to play basketball, or it was always something else that he had to do, and was never putting you first.
I don't remember who this guy is. Sorry to that man.
But was never putting you first, and I told you, I said, let him go. I said, if he don't know your worth and put you first, that basketball and all his boys and everything else is more important, don't do it. So again, you didn't come to me a lot because you, like me, relied on a lot of your friends. Mm-hmm. You talked to a lot of your friends about your relationships. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that brings up the next thing for me is the idea that family is who is supposed to provide you with the support. They're supposed to be there for you while you're growing up and, make sure that you're okay, meet all of those needs, whatever they look like. But just like you said last time, sometimes family can be your biggest bullies. And I don't think it's intentional. I think it's, the little teasing, the poking that happens.
Yeah, they don't even know
way.
What they're doing to you.
They don't recognize how much it affects you, which, kind of leads to that idea of confidence, self-confidence, self-esteem. I feel like the reason why I wasn't like a serial dater or I didn't date as much as a lot of my friends were is because I had lower confidence, lower self-esteem. And I think that it started not in my particular home, but, navigating different relationships with family, being pinned against the next person or compared to the next person, or, it has a way to diminish your self-worth, your value over time. And again, not intentional, but it's those little pokes, those little jabs that happen. Right, because
my brothers and sisters, they like to joke a lot. We joke a lot, we play a lot, and we'll say things that are hurtful, as in all of our families. Mm-hmm. But you don't know how a person is going to take what you say. But it's funny because, a lot of the people that did the poking and jabbing, when you came back at them... Sensitive. Go back and run and tell my mom.
It's the idea like, where when I was younger, they used to say, sticks and stones may break our bones, but words would never hurt us. Huh? And I want to call bullshit. Words do hurt. Words are very painful sometimes, and you have to be careful with the way that you are treating people. You don't know how they're going to react to those types of things. So, with that being said, yes, I had a close relationship with you. I could talk to you about almost anything except for those few things that I just cannot recall for the life of me.
And you never brought it up to talk about.
Right. I went to my friends.
So why didn't you come to me to talk about them?
I don't know.
Because we had an open relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt comfortable talking to you about most things. But I feel like the things that I talked to you about were like school or what I'm doing from day to day. Like my every action I would call be on the phone with you for hours and hours and hours to the point where one of us was like, all right, I'm done talking to you.
Guess which one it was?
Sometimes me. So don't do it.
Mignon would ring my phone when she was in school at least 10 times a day.
How many times do I call you now?
Well, it's different now. I see you every day. But when you were in Indianapolis and I was in Indiana, it was still maybe 3 to 4 times a day. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
But what did we really talk about? Were we talking about things of substance, or was it just like, it was just day to day? What you got going on?
Just day to day.
And so it's like,
unless you had something going on.
I think if it was an issue as far as like my feelings, if it related to like my feelings being hurt by a family member or something like that, I would call you and open up to you about that. Or even with my, issues with my friends. Like, I don't know how to navigate this relationship, or this person hurt my feelings. We talked last time about how sensitive I am. Mm-hmm. Thank you, ADHD. Appreciate you. But
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know why I wouldn't have felt comfortable talking about those things. Why it was easier for me to rely on my friends.
On your friends.
And maybe it has a lot to do with the fact that we were having the experiences at the same time. But it would have been good to get some feedback from people who've been through it before. Now, okay, this thought just came into my mind.
Oh boy.
I remember it was me, you, and one of my aunt from on my dad's side. And I was present for a conversation that y'all were having about these men that y'all were dating. And y'all were talking about, like, different sexual positions. And
she was talking about different sexual positions. I
said, oh,
because my mouth dropped open on some of them. I was like, you did what?
I think that was the point where I was like, okay. I don't need to know this much about my mama.
Tell the story right now, because I was like, ooh.
I'm like, no.
Who does that?
I think from that point on, I decided I never needed to know that much about you. And the crazy part is, when my friends come around, you will still say little things, like it could be like sexual innuendos, like don't get crazy, you know, I know what goes down or something, and I'll just be like, I'm so embarrassed.
Y'all be trying to tell y'all, don't be out there.
Please.
I know what y'all, you don't think I don't know, you know. Hey, whoa. You would get upset when your friends would come by, and however I am, however I'm dressed, however I look, that is me. Mm. And she would get so mad. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm coming out the shower, hey.
Because put some clothes on.
It's my house.
And I got company.
Your girlfriends didn't care?
I did. That's embarrassing.
Why would it be embarrassing? You came from here.
Let's see.
You came from this. Don't let me finish. Go ahead.
I just need a moment. Lord, you gonna get us through this? Okay. We just need a little help. I just need a little help. So, a lot of
the low self-esteem came from the nitpicks in the family.
Right. The comparisons, either you're too skinny at this point in your life, or you're too fat at this point in your life, or just, coming home for the holidays and I could tell you picked up a little weight, maybe you don't want to eat that or you don't want to have that. Just like little comments here and there. And it's like, dang, can I just be me? What if I like my little, extra stuff in this year? We gotta make comments every time. Mm-hmm. Even to, oh, I could tell you've been slimming down, like, aunts and uncles, and I'm like, all right.
And our family was always critical on the weight thing, always talking about someone's weight.
Even the ones who are heavier have comments, and that's the audacity. That's what it boils down to for me. Like, how you watching what my clothes look like? Sorry. Like, how you watching what my clothes look like? And can we look down for a second? Like, what's up? But respect. You can't say those types of things. You can't. Gotta be.
Because then they would get offended.
Immediately. But I can't. I just gotta take it. So then you go to your friends. And I can say in my life, I thought I had a lot of friends. I thought I have named so many people my best friend over the span of my 33 years.
I would listen to you, and I would just listen. I said, okay.
But I recognize I have 4 solid best friends that I have talked to about everything. They are my support. They are my backbone. They keep me going. They help me rebuild my confidence, rebuild my self-esteem in ways that I didn't even know was necessary. That's not to say that you didn't. You absolutely did.
Oh, no, I'm not your friend. I'm your mother. I know I did.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
But I know you want me to,
To what?
Be that friend,
I don't. I do not.
I mean, people already think we're sisters.
They don't.
Mm.
They do not.
Okay.
Anyway, back to my friends. 4 best friends. I did not know that I needed them the way that I did until they showed up in a way for me that blew my mind. I know we keep talking about this, but my grandmother, her mother, passed away. And during that time, I was home for an extended period of time. I would actually work get all of my work done and then come home and stay and try to help out as much as I could. But I made it my mission to be there specifically after she passed because I knew it was going to be a lot that we had to do, a lot of packing up. One of my friends sent a peace lily to the wake and the funeral, and I was like, oh, that's so nice, super sweet, wasn't expecting anything, but to my surprise, I show up at the wake, and there she is. And when I tell you, tears, just immediately, and because I wasn't expecting anybody to be there. I wasn't expecting her to be there. And she was there and she stayed with me, and I didn't know that I needed her to be there. I didn't know that this was a time in my life where this was too hard for me. This was too much to just sit in this space and look ahead at what is laying in front of me, which seems so final. And she stayed there and she talked to me and we walked around and we sat in the lobby, and I needed that. And she wasn't there the whole time. She was there majority of the time, but so grateful. So grateful. Then I have another friend who, her daughter, my goddaughter's birthday was around the same time as the funeral and everything. And so I went, it was her baby shower. That's what it was for her youngest child. And of course, I'm godmom, so I need to show up. We did it on Zoom because COVID and everything, but I was there in person. And I literally went, did my thing, and left right back out. That's all that I had the capacity to do. But for a moment, I sat down, and she brought over this, I don't know if it's a gift bag or just like a box. And I opened it, and it was several bracelets that had such meaning and really spoke to the relationship that I had with my grandmother. And I couldn't do anything but sit there and cry. And she's like, oh my God, like, you weren't supposed to. I'm like, what did you expect? And I have another friend who... You was feeling the feels. I was feeling... I couldn't do nothing but feel the feels. Felt the feels. My other best friend, he would just constantly text me, he would call you if necessary. He comes out here to visit often, but really just, making sure that I'm good, checking on me. You need anything? He always sends the sweetest, most heartfelt cards. You mean the favorite? America's favorite house guest. That's what he calls himself. Yes. So then there's that from him. And I mean, every day, you good? You need anything? How can I help? And we'll check you when need to. I love that about him. That's the part that I don't like. But he be so real. And you know what it is? Here we go. You know what it is? It's that Leo in him. Gone. I knew you was going to say something stupid. We do that, but go ahead. But we tell the truth. And then there's my final best friend. Last but certainly not least, I came home after a few weeks of being, in Gary and helping out and trying to get everything together. And my house was clean. I had food in my refrigerator that she cooked for me. I'm thinking, when I left out of here, I threw stuff everywhere, just trying to pack a bag and get out the door. Everything was cleaned, folded, bed was made, floors were clean. Like, I'm like, I forgot you had a key.
Because you were just trying to rush and hurry up because you were supposed to go up and visit. Yeah, but it was too late. Mm-hmm.
So weeks later, I walk into a squeaky clean apartment and a meal cooked in the refrigerator. I didn't have to worry about nothing. Mm. Who thinks to do stuff like that?
A true friend.
Who thinks, oh, she probably ain't gonna wanna, worry about cleaning the house. This house probably gonna be a mess for a while because she's going through something. Like, I wouldn't think something like that. And it made me realize just how much they care about me.
Right, that you are loved.
These are the same 4 individuals that if I am just having a low moment where I feel like I can't believe in myself, or if you getting on my nerves and I need somebody to talk to or need some advice, I call them and and they listen. They listen and they do not judge.
They know not to.
And they say things to me that just builds me in such a way that it's like, how dare you not believe these things about yourself?
How could I possibly get on your nerves?
How could you not? How could you not?
I got you and your dog to get on mine.
That is an innocent, sweet baby girl. And honestly, the closest thing that you're going to have to a grandchild for me for a while at least. Okay. And so you really need to cherish the moments.
I do every morning.
My girl is getting old.
Yes, she is, but she be moving around. You can be walking, she be moving. I'm like, okay, you want to jog today? Okay, come on, let's go.
So you need to, respect her. Put some respect on her name.
Girl, bye.
And be nice to that baby. But no, just the way that your friends have the power to build you up, the way people around you, the people that are closest to you, also have the power to tear you down. I always say,
but that was powerful.
Blood makes us related. It doesn't make us family. I learned later in life that I get to choose my family, and those 4 individuals are the family that I chose. And I realized that it's okay to allow your friends to rebuild you when you feel like you're broken. Because oftentimes I also approached the situation where it was like, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to put too much on you. I feel like every time I talk to you, I'm overloading. I'm like trauma dumping on you in a sense.
I never felt like that. The only time I would feel...
Not you, actually. I was talking about my friends, but go ahead.
But for me, I mean, sometimes you would come to me and when you would be hurt, but it was like you were singing that same song over and over and over. And no matter what I would say. That's a different
situation.
Yeah, no matter what I would say, no matter, I think, I think that's the only time that you ever overburdened me with a situation where I was like, look, I don't want to talk about it no more. Don't bring it to me no more. Because if you didn't do what I asked you to do, ain't nothing else I can do for you.
Did I listen?
Nope.
Thank you.
Not for a while.
No, I mean, did I listen to you telling me not to talk to you about it anymore?
I think until I finally, I really snapped and I'm like, look, I don't, because like she says, my pain is her pain. Her pain is my pain. It's like, I don't want to hear about that. I told you what to do, but it took you years later to understand what I was saying, and you finally did it. You had to cut that cord. You had to let that go or you would continue to get hurt. Like I said, you had to get off the wheel. You had to get off that wheel or you're going to continuously go through it. It's like, okay, when you going to jump off? When you going to stop hurting yourself? So I think that was the only time that you really overburdened me with Besides when you was pledging, AKA. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
We don't have to talk about that here.
Oh, okay.
One of the things that they would say to me, like I would say, I feel like this is too much. I just want to be a support for you. Like I don't need to share what's going on with me. I don't need to dump this on you every time we have a conversation. And they would always reassure me, like, no, this is mutual. It goes both ways. And it's such a wonderful thing to feel that, to understand that beyond just the relationship that I have with you, where I feel like other people in my life, aside from both my grandmothers, maybe didn't really show that. They did make you feel like a burden over time, or like what you were dealing with or how you were feeling was too much for them to handle. So there's that. I thought it was interesting to hear about your lack of confidence when you were younger and how you felt about yourself, because I always looked at you as like this beautiful person that I wished I could be. Like I always would be like, oh, I wish I looked more like my mom. Like
You've said that to me before.
And so to hear that, self-esteem or self-confidence is something that you struggle with, I feel like it may have helped to me a little bit more in my younger years if I knew someone that I looked up to so much also struggled in the same way.
And it's funny because, like Latika said, but you would have never known it. I didn't show it. I felt it inside. Takes her to let all that out.
But she was saying, even at work, like you're such a bold personality, and you say whatever comes up comes out, right? And I was thinking to myself, if you feel like you lacked confidence, then that is a way of masking. I'm gonna have this bold and loud, confident, outputting personality because I don't need people to see how I truly feel on the inside.
You covered up. Yeah, cover it up.
And I feel like I did
and
that
I felt
too.
more comfortable at work, around the people that I work with, because sometimes the people that you work with, you around them so much, they feel like family. You really get to know them because you're working side by side with them. You've known them for so many years, and I was comfortable, and we laughed, and we had fun, and, and again, whenever I, put my mind to do something, especially with a job, I'm going to be the best at what I do, So yeah, I would tell the bosses we don't need you up here, bye, go, I got this.
The conversations that I heard over your years at the post office, my God.
What conversations?
I would always tell you, I'm surprised you still have a job.
Oh, she did, yeah. Because I would tell my bosses to go, bye. They relied on me, and they knew that they could trust me to do what they asked me to do. Because they knew they couldn't go to another section, like we were Tylerstown, you had Glen Park, you had, the different areas. They couldn't just go over there and say, hey, this is what I need you to do, give them the paper, and they have to go back, check, make sure, okay, well, how long is it going to take you to get it ready? It needs to go. They didn't have to do that with me. So they left me alone. But when they would come, I'd be like, what do you want? There it is right there. Go get it.
So they could rely on you, but couldn't stand to see you coming. They'd be like, here go this loudmouth.
I had a boss, and I'm going to put you out there, Tan.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to put you out there. Tan said, if you wasn't a good worker, I'd have fired you a long time ago because of your mouth. I said, oh, well.
I said, good thing I'm a good worker.
Oh, but, love Tan to death, she was a great boss, yeah. She told me that. She said, ooh, you better be glad you're a good worker.
What do you think if you could go back and do something differently in terms of like your parenting, in terms of that emotional support, which again you did provide? Do you think that you would do anything over?
I think I would do things differently. Back then, again, because of us single mothers, you know, and having to work so much, you know, we really didn't have that time to really show a lot of emotional support to our kids because we were always gone. But we felt like we were putting you somewhere safe.
That's a topic for a different
when we did have to work, you know, make sure that you had the right babysitters or you were at either grandparents' house or, you know, that you guys were safe. So I know that I could not give as much emotional support as you felt I should have. But I would always pick you up like the little monkey and do, you know.
Why I gotta be a monkey?
She was like, you know how the little skinny monkeys go to and they put their arms around you and grab you and they throw their legs around you. And
something about this feels racist.
That was you. You was like a little monkey, you know. But anyway. But I felt like, I feel like I could have did few, you know, more hugs, more kisses, more I love yous, you know. But when my kids needed me, I had to stop what I was doing, whether I was at work or whatever, and I was there. You know, whether you were sick or you're crying, I'm ready to come home, you know, I was there. You know, but a lot of people talk about, you know, the Black women, you know, we brought up the subject of being strong, you know, and then when we do start dating someone, and they look at us like, oh, you're controlling or you got that strong personality where you had to be that all your life.
It's like you lose the ability to be soft, to be feminine because you have to show up in such a way.
I had to show up in strength all my life. You know, through work, through raising my kids, you know, trying to provide, you know. So when it comes to dating and a man will say, well, you're too controlling or you're too this or too... It's hard to bring that down. So it would take a really, really strong man to handle a strong woman. You know, maybe you were too weak for me.
The man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you were too weak for me. Maybe you needed to come up to be more of a man or have that strong personality to handle me because I can be handled. You know, I'm not too proud to step down to be that soft woman, you know, but sometimes it just takes for a man to remind a woman, hey, whoa, you know, you got a man now. I can do that. I'll do that for you, you know, because we're used to doing everything. We're used to washing the cars. We're used to emptying the garbages, you know.
Yeah, but you can let your guard down if they show you that you can. If
sometimes,
they show up in a manner of strength to make you feel
when they
safe.
do it, and they do they always do it? No. Which means I might need to like move on. You're not who I should be with.
That's another thing that I feel like, man, why didn't I get that? Like, why wasn't that instilled in me? That strength. I always, you know, would see myself going back to confidence, see myself as being weak or because I was so sensitive. And so it's like the things that people would say, whether I'm dating, they hurt. And I'm like, why can't I have that strength, show up as that strong woman like my mom does? Like, where is that in me? I come from her. That's what she say all the time. So where is it at? And stop doing that.
And you come from me. But I never saw you as a weak person. I think you kind of got to me when I wasn't here in Vegas yet, and you kept the crying. It's like, where is this coming from? Why do you keep crying? Why do you? Because you're never really like that. I didn't really see that in you. Because you have been a tough cookie at times. It's like, oh, you know, I mean, that Aries come out, it's like, okay.
Well, maybe that's my way of masking.
Right.
Not wanting people to see what's deep down inside. Like, this is hard to show up and really put yourself out there and speak about yourself in such a vulnerable way for people of the world to hear.
And they need to hear it because, you know, they're not alone. There's a lot of people out here that's going through the same things that we're going through. that need to hear it, that don't need to dummy down. It's like, you need to level up.
Well,
yeah. I mean, and you get that with people, whether it's friends, family, relationships.
mm-hmm.
Why should I level down to you? And in my past, in my younger years, I dummy down. I did that. I did things to appease. I was the people pleaser, always wanting to help people, and because I did have a big heart, and I still do have a big heart. But I feel like I was giving this big heart to the wrong people. And I refuse at this age to ever do that again.
How do you know when it's the right person?
You'll know. Because guess what? They'll show you. They will show you. Like what Steve Harvey say, give them the 90 days. Let them prove to you who they are. And I would take it beyond 90. I don't think 90 is enough. Prove to me who you are.
I watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy. I've probably seen the entire series
3 times.
More. Probably like 10. But one of the things that I really
feel like you
love,
a doctor now?
I thought when I was in undergrad and I started watching the show, I wanted to change. I wanted to go pre-med. Like, I legit thought that I could do it. And then I saw all the blood and all the stuff to that. And anyway, one of the things that I value was the relationship between Meredith and Christina, where they, like, called each other, like, that's my person. Like, when something goes on in my life, I know that person is going to be by my side. And one of the things that Christina said to Meredith before she, left the show essentially was, hey, I know that you think this guy is so dreamy and, you're head over heels for him, but remember, you are the sun. And I think that the relationship that I have with my friends, that is what they instill in me. They remind me all the time, you are the sun.
Which is what Latika said to me. You are the prize. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? They ain't the prize. You are the prize. And it took this long for me to realize that I am that diamond in the rough. And the needle in a haystack, however y'all want to put it. That hard person to find, that good person. It's hard to find a good-hearted person. Trusting, the person that you can rely on. It's very hard to find that. To recognize who I am. Because I wasn't that person. I didn't feel I was that person back then. Or I would not have made all of the wrong choices that I made. So I tried to, again, started this to get, the young girls to see their worth. Stop accepting. Stop living in with these men. Make them earn you, take you out, date you. Because a lot of them, we living together and don't go nowhere. They don't take you nowhere.
Get comfortable.
They get comfortable. They don't feel like they have to do anything for you. Dinner, you better get in there and cook. I'll pop a pizza in the oven. Or, it's like you weren't even worth to be taken out to get pizza. Go to a Mexican restaurant. Mexican restaurants ain't expensive. It's like, come on, really? And we accept that. Don't accept that. Because I feel like the way they got you, they need to keep doing it. And I remember Reverend Laurie at St. Timothy, he said to his wife, he said, he's saying you are so beautiful to her. And that was just so nice to me. It's like, oh my God, that's what I want. But he always said, you have to continue. At that time, he's, old folk, you got to continue to court her.
Got to date.
You got to continue to date her.
I tell my clients that all the time. You are consistently growing, evolving. You are not the same person that you were when you first met. You have to continue to date and remind yourself of why you fell in love with this person in the first place.
And a lot of people look at love as sex, all of this sex and all of this, what's
They
going to
believe
happen?
intimacy is sex.
To me, I feel like sex is probably 10% of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look so into that because guess what? We're all going to change. We're all going to get older. What's going to happen when you can't even have sex anymore?
Mm.
It happens. Sometimes the blue pill don't work. What you gonna do? You have to love a person from within. That's why they say soulmate, from the deep in the soul.
Mm-hmm.
That you love that person that much. Till death. And that is hard to find.
I don't think that your soulmate is always your intimate partner either.
Don't have to be. But you want to find that divine partner.
Absolutely.
You want the divine partner. Someone that God sent for you. Not go and choose somebody and 20 years down the line after God showed you a weekend he wasn't the one. Oh, God, why you send me this? And God said, I ain't choose that. You did.
Straight like that.
You chose that. I didn't choose that. I was showing you the red flags. I was showing you when he wasn't picking you up on time. You didn't see that red flag? He came anytime he wanted to. And you sat there and you waited for him.
This is, okay. You said something here. The not picking you up on time. There was a time in my life where I would, and this has nothing to do with dating, by the way.
I know.
Well, a little bit.
Okay.
I would wait and wait and wait and wait and wait all day long. And I think you said Grandma called you and was like so upset. She's just sitting there waiting, just waiting. And, everybody is offering to take her places and do all this stuff. And she's like, nope, I'm going to wait because this person said they on their way, they going to be there, and they would never show up. To the point where I can recall you would get off work late. And you'll tell me a time, and then all of a sudden you got to work like overtime, and that, it happens naturally. But I would call and call and call. Like, you said you was going to be here at this time. You not here. At what time you coming to get me? I'm ready to go home. But there was one thing that you said to me. You said, I don't care who it is. I don't even care if it's me. You give somebody 10 minutes past the time that they said they were going to be there. If they haven't called you to let you know, hey, I'm running a little bit late, or, just give me a little bit more time, then you move on with your day. And I applied that across the board in my entire life, whether it be with friends, family, dating. I am not going to wait on anybody. You give me a time, I'm moving on. But I also feel that experience was hurtful in terms of my dating life as well, because I never really knew what to expect. What was shown to me, what was presented to me was that somebody can make a promise to you and then not follow through until you gave me that advice of don't wait for nobody. But it didn't really translate later in life until now, I guess.
To respect yourself, to respect your time. And I remember when that happened. My mom was so hurt. And, I could hear it in her voice that you sat at that door all day. Family was going out, going to the mall, riding bikes. They were doing everything. And you said, no, I'm going to sit there and wait. So you sat there from like 10 in the morning to like 10 at night, waiting on this person to pick you up. She was a little girl. And a family member was supposed to pick her up. And never showed up. That broke my mother's heart. And I said, okay, Mom, I'll handle it. And I took her home and we had a conversation and a talk. And I had that talk with her because I never wanted her to take this into her relationships and allow a man to do this to her. And I said, I don't care who it is, me, your grandmother, if they don't respect you enough to call and say, hey, I'm running a little late. Stuff happened. Go on with your day. And I've dated guys that felt they could do that, be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20, not show up, whatever. Guess what? I left the house.
But even at such a young age, you can see how that is something that will diminish your self-worth.
Well, that did.
What is
that
it
did a lot
about
to
me?
your self-esteem and yourself. It did.
Yeah.
And it did for a while because they continued.
Mm-hmm.
This is a person that was a part of your life, and they continue to hurt you and hurt you and hurt you and hurt you until it started bothering me. And that's the situation where I said, look, don't come to me no more with that.
Well, and
Don't you?
it makes it hard for me to date to this day because of the lack of trust, the lack of faith that I have in people with my heart, with my time.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can say is, on the flip side of that, I can remember really feeling like you see me, you see my value, you see my worth. And I think I realized it for the first time when I turned 16 and my friends decorated my locker. And that was just something that they did when I was in high school all the time, every year. But I opened the locker and there was a handwritten letter from you, and it was full page about, how proud you are of me and all of my successes. And then I received another card like that, I think at like 18. And then another one at 21, these like handwritten, heartfelt, where it was just an expression of such pure love. I was like, okay, why can't I see myself the way that she clearly sees me, the confidence that she has in me? And it took some time, but I never forget those. I think that they are probably still somewhere. You probably still have them.
Probably boxed up.
But I always think back to those moments of like, there's so much love and admiration there. Like, yeah, I might have done without on one end, but I did receive so much on the opposite. So that really helped. It really was
and it's
important.
something that I feel like parents should do for their children, teenagers, whatever, because we're not always going to be here. And to leave that, with them, that you do love them, even if you couldn't say it, you wrote it,
Now I couldn't read your handwriting at the time. I had to ask her to stop writing in cursive because she writes so small.
We're not going to talk about your writing.
Oh, okay.
Because you actually write. We're not even going to talk about how you write.
Just let it go.
She write like, she hold a pen like that.
No, I don't.
Who writes?
No, I don't. Put it down. Stick to the topic.
But it's something that I read, and it said that flawed people leave an imprint on you, and now you're flawed. They were flawed, and now they made you flawed.
It's the same idea of hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people hurt people, and now you're hurt. Not realizing that, you allowed a hurt person, or we allow hurt people to hurt us. And then it's in us. Because now when you move on to that next person, it's like, okay, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do to hurt me? Because you're so used to it from your past relationships that it's so hard to let go.
I find that in my line of work, I take in so much energy from other people and their experiences and everything that they're going through, and almost try to push out, my energy into them. And that can become very draining. And so I think about like the emotional bank account. What does it look like to have people make deposits back into you when there are so many withdrawals that are happening over time? Because without those deposits, you are putting out so much to other people, you go into insufficient funds. You don't want that in your real bank account.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it look like for people to make deposits back into you?
I get deposited every morning that I walk that pavement. Every morning that I'm out there with your
Oh,
dog.
so she's grateful for my puppy.
I told you, that is my spiritual moment, and it feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to feel that closeness,
Mm-hmm.
that oneness with God. You know, because you have to be very careful of who you give your energy to.
Mm-hmm.
People are not worth the argument. If you don't see my worth and you don't see who I am, or if you want to go out there and you want to tell lies on me, or if you want to, you're not worth my energy. Be quiet. In my younger days, you might have got cussed out. Like me and Mickey said, I don't care.
Growth.
And that goes with that one-on-one with God. Him sitting you down and spending that time and making you uncomfortable.
What do other people do to show you that you are loved?
Right now, I do have my girlfriends, my one buddy at work, I talk to them, every now and then. But right now, at this period in my life, I've been more to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I really haven't been around my friends. I really haven't, it's like I'm starting a new beginning. So I've been more with self.
Mm-hmm.
I've been exploring me, learning to love me, and I enjoy it. I enjoy being by myself. I enjoy, I can entertain me. I love me, and I had to learn to love me. So, am I done, or do I ever want to date, or absolutely yes. But I don't want to feel like, I feel like I'm complete. I can add to a person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a person to lift me up. I don't need a person to make me happy. I don't need, I don't need that. I want to walk side by side with you. And if I can't find that person, and guess what? I'm happy with me. God has gotten me to that point. And I ain't dummying down for nobody. You can't level up. Move on.
All right, Sierra.
Ooh, Sierra.
Oh my God.
What is that?
This is the 60 coming out. She don't know that Sierra got a song called Level Up.
I really don't. I know who Sierra is, but I don't know her song. Her new song. I don't know that.
One day.
I know she can bend backwards and almost hit that floor, the Matrix type of, Mm-hmm.
So, if we wrap up here, what do you want people to know?
To know your worth, to know your love. You are loved.
Mm-hmm.
God love you. Don't ever feel like he's not there and you're not loved. Love yourself. Spend time with yourself. Allow God to work with you. And it's nothing that's going to happen overnight. It takes time. You have to get uncomfortable. Don't settle. Stop being the people pleaser. Stop moving in with guys just to move in with them to say I'm with somebody. And half of the time you move in with them and you're not even happy. It's just a roof over your head, a place to stay. So now they got that control over you.
What about in terms of support? What do you want the people to know?
And as far as support, that you don't, some of us got good family members that do support us. I love my sisters and brothers. Are they always right? No.
Disclaimer, I love my entire family.
Yeah.
Even the people that get on my nerves. But I prefer, most times, the family I chose.
We do have a great family. We come from a great family. Love them all. But sometimes you can't go to your family for answers. And that's where the friends come in at. And you're not going to have a lot of friends because your friends will turn on you. Your friends will tell you secrets.
Sometimes.
You have to learn to become a friend.
Mm-hmm.
What is a true friend? Someone that you can go to and confide in, and you don't have to worry about it being all out there in the streets. I've had to let some friends go because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you telling my business to people on my route?
Well, that's a testament of really learning who are your
Who
genuine
are your
friends.
true friends?
And I think
And they feel like,
in my hardest moment,
Mhm.
that's when I found out. I knew
right,
all along,
right.
but that solidified it for me.
So you got to be careful who you call friend.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody not your friend?
Well, Grandma said all of your friends are in your back pocket.
No,
The
Grandma
dead
said
presidents.
dead. She said all my friends are in my dead in my back pocket. So though her friends were the dead presidents.
And I never understood. I was like, why you don't have no friends? Why don't you like people? But I think that was more of a lesson in like, build your money, stay focused. Everything else will fall in line.
Mm-hmm. And she did. Of course, you saw she stood by her best friend till she died.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who lived up the street, Aunt Claudia. She was there for her,
Mm-hmm.
and helped take care of her. So she did have a friend, and then she had Shirley, and so she did have some friends. But like she said, before you leave this earth, you can count on one hand how many true friends you have.
Forward them things.
Mm-hmm. So that was a lot. So you don't know where you're going to find your support.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a coworker. It could be a boss. It could be a therapist. You don't know. It can be your husband, your wife,
Mm-hmm.
that supports you. So,
All right.
you feel good now that you got to jump in on this
Do you?
self-esteem and support?
Do you feel good?
I do. I do. I do. And I enjoyed the conversation, and I hope you guys got something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to love, have faith, and believe in your dreams. God can do all things. Just asking for a little help. Peace.
And we out.